Hey everybody, Chad here. In this video, we're going to talk about the two greatest scams in hotels and resorts in Thailand. So, that being said, we're going to rock and roll. I'm Chad, by the way. I did live in Thailand. I lived in Thailand for 1 year. So I lived in Phuket. I lived in Patong for about 1 year. I think really about 10 months, but that's almost 1 year. So I didn't Google this information. I actually lived there. So, and when I stayed, I'm jumping right into this. When I stayed in Patong, Phuket, I didn't live like a Thai. Okay, that's the first time I ever went to Thailand. I knew I was going to be a long stay, so I went on a 3-month visa. Okay, from a 3-month visa, I just kept on extending it, and I could have stayed longer, but I wanted to come home. Right now, I'm home. I'm in the home office. I'm visiting family, my mom, my sister, my nephew. This is his last year in high school, so I wanted to be close to him during his last year because I've always been away. Go to all his like games, football games, wrestling, and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm talking from experience. Okay, so right now we're going to talk about the two greatest scams in hotels and resorts in Thailand, and this applies to everyone. You know, this applies if you're trying to retire in Thailand. Okay, you want to go there and retire, and if you go there and retire, unless you've been there before and you have experience, you might start off living in hotels until you kind of know where you want to go, know where you want to live, and so on and so on. Even if you're a vacationer, you're going for a 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, or a month vacation, of course, you're probably going to stay in a hotel, resort, Airbnb, whatever. So this is going to cover you no matter what you're doing. So you're going to want to listen up, because these are the two greatest scams that hotels and resorts do to foreigners. Farang. So like a farang is a foreigner. So of course, I'm white. I'm not Thai. I'm not Asian. So yeah, they know that you're a foreigner. So you can't play them. So just put that funny thing out there, okay? Now, I have my little notepad here so that way I don't have a brain fart. Like, what are the two greatest scams? What happened to me while I was there? Now, one of the greatest things that I noticed when I was there is I stayed in, most of the time I actually stayed in Adamatra, and it was in Kathu, but it was on the border of Kathu and Patong. One of the things I noticed is what you want to do when you stay in hotels and resorts is it's always tempting to do room service. Makes sense? Now, there's good and bad room service. That's a whole nother video with talking about room service. But when you have room service, of course, it attaches to your bill. Okay, so there's two ways to pay. Okay, you can pay right away, pay in cash. Sometimes they will take your card. That's a whole nother video too, because you have to make sure your card doesn't get international charges and stuff like that. If you don't care about international charges, but it just makes the price more pricey when you're getting an additional international charge. So what I noticed is when I started room service, sometimes I would pay cash, sometimes I would just let it kind of build up, just like a normal hotel, normal luxury hotel or resort, you let it build up. Then I would always go down, and then I would pay. I'm bad at telling stories here. I would tell a story for a long time, holy hell. But anyway, when I stayed, I think I stayed at Adamatra for about 6 months. So every time I would go down, this is how I would pay. When I go down, I would pay every month to stay an additional month. Okay, that's how I would do it, because I didn't pay a whole 6 months because I wasn't too sure where I was going to be. So just have that flexibility. So every month I would go down, and they kind of left me alone for a while. So they kind of just let me kind of build up my room service bill. Not that high at that time, but I'll tell you how high it was here in a second. To kind of know how high I was spending there. It wasn't that high to me, but anyway. But I remember, after I stayed there for like a few months or a couple months, I went down to kind of extend my stay to pay, and they said, "Oh, you should pay your room service bill. That way it's just clear. You're starting from zero and stuff like that." So I said, "Okay, cool. Why not?" So I think at that time I probably only owed maybe 5,000 baht, something like that. Not that much. 5,000 baht is probably like, $150 USD. So it's not that big of a deal. So I said, okay, why not? So, they're getting everything ready. They're doing my paperwork for me to stay for another month. Plus, they're doing the paperwork for my room service bill. So when they hand me my room service bill, I was looking at it. So in my mind, I didn't have my receipts on me, but I had my receipts in the room, okay, because I wasn't checking out, so I was staying for another month. So when I was looking at the bill, I'm thinking, well, in my head, I'm thinking, well, at max, I only owe 5,000 baht, okay? And this bill was almost 10,000 baht. It was like, almost like 8,000, 9,000. So baht, not US dollars, baht. So I'm looking at it. I looked at the receptionist that was helping me. I said, well, no, this is wrong because I didn't spend 8,000 or 9,000 baht because I'm just by myself. I'm just I'm paying for myself. I'm not paying for anybody else. I'm not paying for two or whatnot. I'm just paying for myself. And I don't use room service that much. Most of that room service was right when I got there because I was under quarantine. So when you're under quarantine, you have to do room service. So I said, well, this has to be wrong. And she's like, oh, well, that's how much you owe. And I said, well, no, it's not that high. It's not 8 or 9,000 baht. It's not that high. And so she said, I'll go get a manager. So the manager came out and he looks at it. He actually prints a new bill. Okay, when he prints a new bill, it went from like 8,000, 9,000 baht down to like about 4,500 baht, what it really was. And so I still told him, once they kind of pulled that with me, I still told him, well, I want to go up to my room. I'm not going to pay right now, but I'm here for another month because I already paid, so I'm not going anywhere. So I said, I'll go up, I'll look at my receipts, make sure everything's correct. And he said, okay. And this is what I'm talking about. This is one of the biggest scams in hotels. Okay, the story I just told you, and my story actually gets worse. And I'll finish it here, and I'll finish it here, wrap it up here. But the scam is they give you two different types of bills, especially if you do room service. Okay, because usually when you go to a hotel resort, it's already paid in full. Okay, so there's no additional charges. Unless you break something or something like that, or they blame something on you, then they might want to charge you for it. But if you order room service, they will give you, lots of times they will give you a different type of bill because they think that you're checking out. Okay, they think that you're going to the airport. They think you're rushed, you have to leave. And they think that you're not paying attention. Okay, you're not paying attention how much you're spending. So they will actually print out a different bill. They'll add stuff to it. One of the things that a mantra would do, they would actually add. I have caught now even here. I don't want to show it, just because it's basically a live video. I should show it to that way but it looks just like a real bill where they print it out. Comes from the hotel. But they add stuff to it. You'll have your real charges on it, but then they'll just keep on adding like 100 baht, 100 baht, 100 baht, 100 baht, just like randomly, and it will add up. It won't be extraordinary. Where like if I spent 4,500, they might double it to 8,000 baht, something like that. Where you might not notice, you might not be paying attention. They go up to your room and you just sign off and give it to them. So, but that's one of the biggest scams in all hotels and all resorts, okay, in Thailand, is they will change that room service bill. Okay, so you have to pay attention to how much you're spending, okay, and keep receipts. How much you're spending and keep receipts. Okay, if you don't keep receipts and you fight your bill and you don't have receipts, Thailand's different. It's a totally different culture. It's not like the United States. It's not like Europe. It's not like you're coming, it's they don't have laws around to protect you, okay, around that, okay. So if you just sit there and say, well, I don't have all my receipts, they're going to just look at you and say, well, you owe this money, period. They're not going to deduct it for you, but you owe the money. Or they give you a sob story that, oh, well, we have to take it out of their paycheck, or we got to take it out of, the cafeteria's paycheck, a food service paycheck if you don't pay your bill. And, it's always kind of a sob story to make you feel sorry, even though they're trying to scam you. So that being said, keep your receipts, okay? and be mindful how much you're spending, especially room service, because that's a whole separate bill that you're going to check out with. Okay. Now, ending my story, okay, I never paid my bill. Now, I did pay at the end when I finally left, but my bill actually, it went from 4,500, it went up to 20,000 baht. Now, the 20,000 baht was that's the real number. That's how much I truly owed. But since I stayed there so long, I ended up knowing some of the receptionists there that worked down in front. And they had this one receptionist who always tried to scam me. Like always. And I would get so upset because I'm like, dude, I've been here forever. Why is she always trying to scam me? Like, she should know that I'm smarter than that, stuff like that, even though maybe I look dumb. But I always say that, no, this face might look dumb, but it's smarter than you think. But anyway, my bill was 20,000 baht. So 20,000 baht is maybe like $700, something like that. In US dollars, 700, 750, something like that, 20,000. Depending upon the rate change and stuff like the give and take the rate change going from US dollar to baht. So one time, I was passing by at that and she's like, oh, do you want to, pay the bill now? Because I knew it was like 20,000. So she said, well, if you pay half now, just pay half and, everything will be okay. So I was okay, cool, I'll go pay half. So when I went to pay half, I said, I already knew what it was, but I always, for me, my personality, especially if I'm in another country, I always play stupid with people. I always play like I don't know how much I owe. You know what I mean? So that way I know if they're being honest with me, being forthwith with information. So I'm like, I knew how much I owed because I keep track of it in my room. So I'm like, well, how much do I owe? So she's looking and she's like, she prints out this great big thing. But again, I had 20,000 baht and a lot of food service there for maybe like a month. Not food service, a lot of room service. So it was a nice little stack. Several, maybe like 5, 6 pages. But instead of it being 20,000, it was 30,000. So she's like, oh, you owe 30,000, so pay 15,000 now. Pay 15,000 half. And, at least you paid half. So I'm thinking to myself, I didn't say it out loud, I'm thinking to myself, well, I only owe 20,000. Why are you telling me I owe 30,000? And then you want half up front off of 30,000, which is 15,000. I'm talking baht. So I look at the bill, but they did the same thing. They gave me a hard copy of the bill, but it will be accurate, except they just add a whole bunch of additional charges, like just, not taxes, not anything, just 100 baht, 100 baht, 100 baht, 200 baht, just like random charges that add up to 30,000 because she at this time, she thinks I've been there so long, I don't remember how much I've spent. So, but I did because I kept all my receipts and I just keep a number. I write down a number and I know broadly how much I've spent. So I knew I spent no more than 20,000 baht. They did the same thing. So then I tell her the same story. I said, well, I don't really owe this much. And she's like, well, how much do you think you owe? And I said, probably around 20,000. But at this time, it was at nighttime, so our manager wasn't really there. And I said, well, I'm not going to pay you. I'll go up and get all my receipts and look at them and see how much I really owe and bring them down. So, she kind of hustled me a little bit, but that's what I did. So I didn't pay her 30,000 because I knew I only owed 20,000. So, that's what they'll do. They're not, sometimes they'll double it, sometimes they'll add stuff to it. And another reason why they do this is because you have to understand the workers there. And all the workers, managements like this and stuff like that in these hotels and resorts, they let them do it. They know they're doing it because what they'll do is let's say I owed 20,000. Okay, that's what I truly owed. And I did pay it, okay, eventually when I moved out. And let's say they did scam me and I paid 30,000. So what they would do is that receptionist, if I paid 30,000, she would actually take that 30,000. She would give the 20,000 to the resort, okay, and keep the 10,000, keep the extra 10,000 baht for herself. So that goes on with the scam. That's why they're doing it, is because they'll keep it, or maybe there's 2 or 3 of them working and they're split it between each other. Okay, that's, it's just, additional money for them. So along with that is keep your receipts. Okay, don't get sloppy. and start throwing your receipts away. You don't know where they're at. Keep them in an envelope. Put them in your safe in your hotel room. Most hotel rooms are nice hotel rooms or luxury hotel rooms. They'll come with a safe, like inside your closet. Keep them in your safe so housekeeping can't get them and throw them away, stuff like that. Because if you don't have proof, you're not going to be able to fight it. Bottom line, okay? Because the only way I could fight that I didn't owe $30,000 is I had all my receipts. To kind of back it up, and I got management involved. Hey, I don't owe this $30,000, I owe $20,000. So I'll pay you $20,000, but I'm not going to pay you $30,000 baht. So that's basically how I solved it. Now, what if? Now, another one that kind of goes along with that. What if you don't pay? You know, this isn't the United States. This isn't Europe. You're dealing with an Asian country, different rules. You're in a different country. Okay, your laws in the United States do not apply. Let me say that a second time. Your laws in the United States do not apply in Thailand. Your laws in Europe does not apply in Thailand. Your laws in India doesn't apply in Thailand. If you're from England, UK, or whatever, your laws in the UK do not apply in Thailand. Okay? So if they say you owe $30,000 and you don't have receipts, you owe $30,000. If you don't pay $30,000, they just call the cops on you, okay? Or they go to the police station and say you owe this great big bill and you're not paying. Okay, now the cops can't really make you pay, but what they'll do is, I don't have my passport, they'll put a block on your passport. So that's basically what they'll do, is like when you leave Thailand, you won't be able to come back. They'll just put a block on your passport, like if you want to come back to Thailand, something like that. So that's usually what they'll do. So that's a long story for the first scam, but it does happen, and it does happen almost in every flipping hotel. They will test you if they think you're new. The two top questions there when you talk to people, you talk to Thai women, Thai women that manages a desk, managers. The two top questions they ask you is, have you ever been to Thailand before? I mean, of course, if you say no, dude, they think you're fresh meat. They think you don't know. Then they'll ask you, have you ever had a Thai girlfriend before? Because they want to know how much experience you have with Thai women. So they're trying to just figure out if you're a newbie, if they can get away with it, they can scam you, whatnot. But anyway, that's the first scam that you really, really have to watch out for. This video is being kind of lengthy. Wanted to get to the point on this. But anyway, I mean, this is for if you're just jumping in. I did live in Thailand for 1 year, so I am talking from experience. These are real experiences that happened to me, and it helps out if you're going there, even on vacation or whatnot. You're there for 1 week, you don't want to pay double for things. And let me tell you, when I stayed in Phuket, before you sit there and say, oh my God, it's so cheap there. Okay, you're in a tourist city, okay? You look like a tourist. You're not Thai. Okay, so they are going to double the price on you, triple the price, quadruple the price on you. If you think it's, it doesn't happen, it happens. So, things get pretty pricey pretty quick. Things add up pretty quick. You think it's so cheap, but it adds up pretty quick. So, that being said, let's move on to scam number 2 by hotels and big resorts. And I got to look at my notes because I had a brain fart there. Okay. Now, this is the one I actually learned. Both of these I learned inside Thailand. Now, this second one is, I'll tell you exactly what it is, and I'll give you some examples, just because you might not believe me. Now, in the U.S., in Europe, you have laws kind of protecting this. Okay, you have laws protecting how much hotels can charge. You don't, like in the U.S., you don't see when you want to book a hotel, no matter if you book online, no matter if you walk in, the prices stay the same. That you don't check 1 minute, then 2 hours later you check again, and the price goes up, price goes down. That's one of the things you'll see in Thailand, especially if you're staying in Thailand for long term. Okay, now if you're staying short term, a week or 2 weeks, you might have everything paid for, and you don't have to worry about this. But if you were like me, where, I know I was staying kind of long term, or even if you stay for a few months, you might want to move around. So you might not have every place booked, right? Yeah, you might just want to go there, pay for your initial stay, then try to figure out try to figure out from there where you're going to go. That was me. I paid for my initial stay, then try to figure out where I want to go from there. So I didn't have everything booked up. I just had my booking. I had to book to meet the immigration standards at that time, and that's what I did. And so this is how I kind of led me into scam number 2, is I just assumed, okay, it's just like the US. If you book online, if you walk in and book, it didn't really matter. Or if you walk in and book, they might give you a better deal than if you book online. Okay, same way like the United States or Europe or wherever you're at, that laws kind of protect in price gouging. Okay, once I learned this really quick. Once you leave the States and you go into another country, the laws don't apply anymore with price gouging, unless you go to Europe or something like that. Once you go to Asia, Thailand, Philippines, or whatever, price gouging is all over the place. It's in airlines. You buy an airline ticket, prices are like this all over the place. They're trying to price gouge. They got little scams with it. Same way with hotels. There's a different price online, a total different price if you walk in, and it's just all over the place. And if you've been in Thailand, if you had this experience, you know that I'm telling you 200% the truth. I mean, it's all over. So this is what I assumed. I assumed like, oh, well, if I walk, or, if I want to stay, if I know I want to stay in Katakoron, Phuket, and I want to go get a hotel down there, well, I can just walk in. They're giving me a better deal because I'm walking in and pay for it like that. But how I kind of caught the scam, I caught the scam really quick because I was at the time, remember, I was already staying at Atamatra. I was already booking online. Sometimes I would go down and pay in person, but what I would do, I would go down, ask the receptionist, well, how much is it if I stay a month? Then they would tell me. But then before I went down, what I did was before I went down and asked them, I would go on my computer upstairs or up in my room, and I would already know the online price. So this is how I started catching the scams. So I would know the online price, then I would go down and ask them in person. And this is where I was mainly staying at Atamatra. They started doing this. They started doing it. Even at the place I stayed forever, they would do it to me. I started noticing really quick that the online price is cheaper than if you walk in. And the walk-in price might be double, okay? Sometimes might be triple what the online price is. Let me say that again. The online price is cheaper than if you walk in, okay? When you walk in, most of the time they'll double the price, or they will triple the price than the online price. And if you listen to the first scam, my first story, the reason why they do this again is because they're pocketing money. Okay, the receptionist, it could be girls or guys that's working a receptionist at that hotel or resort. They do the same thing. If the price is really, for example, if the price is really 1,000 baht a night, okay, maybe that's the real price, but you walk in and they say it's 2,000 baht a night, and you say, okay, whatever, and you pay 2,000 baht, what happens is they pay that 1,000 baht to the hotel and they pocket that other 1,000 baht. You know what I mean? Because they're not giving you the real price. And they get away with it. Management knows this. If you're Thai, or if you can understand Thai, or if you have Thai friends, or you made Thai friends there that actually tell you the truth, like what's going on. So that's basically why they're doing it, because they're allowed. Or they're split it. If there's 2 or 3 of them working in receptionists, they're split it between 2 or 3 people. If you paid 2,000 baht over what you should have paid, they'll pocket that 2,000 baht and just split it with the front receptionist. 2 ways, 3 ways, whatever. That's what they're due. And then when I wanted to leave Atamatra, when I would go around, walk in resorts. Plus, I'm new there, so I would walk in, ask questions, how much did it cost to stay there? Then I would go back and check online, and I would always find a huge discrepancy. I was on stay at the Diamond Cliff, and I think Diamond Cliff is in Kathu, but it's border of Kathu and Patong. Online, I checked online, it was 2,000 baht per night. I walked in and see if they would give me either 2,000 baht or maybe a tiny bit cheaper. They wanted 4,000 baht a night when I walked in. Then I would argue with them and I would say, well, it's 2,000 baht online. And they would be shocked because I did my homework because I knew it was 2,000 baht online. They're trying to give me 4,000 baht as a walk-in. And every place is almost like this. You might find a fluke that they don't do it. They don't do it to you, but every place is like this. So that's the second scam, is when you go to book, and this is really going to apply if you don't have your whole stay paid for. You don't know exactly where you're going. You're just kind of going. You have your first stay paid for, but you want to stay a little. You're either a long stay or you're staying maybe a month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and you don't have everything booked up. Then you're going to bounce around and try to find where you want to stay or try to find the best deals. That's going. If you're doing that on a short stay, that's going to waste a lot of time, because you'll learn very quickly when you walk in, they're going to give you a high price. And if it's not high price for you, that's fine. If you're only there for a week or two and you don't care, hey, that's fine. But I was a long stay. I knew I was going to stay a year, or I knew I was going to stay as long as I could, or as long as I wanted, until I wanted to come back, then go again. So, I didn't want to get tourist price the whole time I was there. If you stay a year, you don't want to pay tourist price the whole time. I mean, that's just the reality of it. So you have to do your homework. What I would do is book online. As far as my experience, the whole year I was in Thailand, booking online was the cheapest. Bottom line, if you're staying in hotels and resorts, booking online is the cheapest. Always book online. And your notice when you start booking online is prices all through the day, prices are going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Once you leave your home country, prices are going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. That's kind of scammy in itself. It's not a flat price. It's always going like this. So that being said, always book online. Don't think you're going to go in and walk in and get a better deal. It might happen from time to time, but most of the time, like 95% of the time, they're gonna rank up the price. And one time I was at this hotel I kind of wanted to stay in, and the reception area was so rude to me, because that's what I did. I knew I wanted to stay there. I knew the place. It was in Kathu. No, not Kathu. It was in Katakoron, and it was kind of way down by the beach. It was a nice little area. And I looked at it online, and I saw the price, but I wanted to see, besides booking online, I wanted to see what it looked like in person. So I took my motorbike, drove down there. But that's another thing too. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes pictures are different from reality. You'll learn that too. So when I drove down there, I was like, oh no, it's pretty nice. They showed me the rooms. It was pretty nice. And so I said, well, so I'm thinking, well, it has to be kind of similar to what I saw online. And so I said, well, how much? I'll book right now. They doubled the price. So I'm talking to, he was a guy receptionist. So I'm talking to him, I'm like, what are you talking about? I forget how much they wanted. But I said, what are you talking about? I literally just pulled it up online on my phone, and it was half the price. Like going, booking through, I forget the site. I'm gonna brain for it right now what the site I used. I'll do another video on that, what site I kind of used. But anyway, I said, it's half the price. So then he starts kind of debating with me back and forth. No. And I said, yeah. So then he said, well, I'll match the price if you can show me online. If you pull your phone right now, you can show me online. I'll give you the price. So what I did was I had a screenshot. So I showed him a screenshot. Okay, I took a screenshot of it because I was on my computer. I wasn't on my phone looking, because usually if I'm looking on my laptop. So of course I'm not going to travel with my laptop. So I said, well, I have a screenshot, but the screenshot was a couple hours ago, something like that. And so he's like, well, what's the real price now? So I said, well, I don't know, because, I did all this on my computer, on my laptop in my room. So that's what I'm saying. So they're going to play with you a lot. They know, they're very, very experienced. in Thailand around these type of scams. They know the prices go up and down. They know all this. So for you to match the price, I mean, it could have been cheap when you checked it. Then by the time you go there, it pops up. Now it's still going to be cheaper than what they're giving you in person. So it's still going to be cheaper than you walking in. Now the only way sometimes, if you stay somewhere, if you're really nice, if they just happen to like you, sometimes they will give you a little bit cheaper than the price online. Every once in a while, I got that at Atamatra. So it sometimes it does work out, but the more you know, the more it helps. The more you know, the more it helps you to get kind of, not so much getting deals, but getting the real price. Okay. I know I'm not like running around looking for the cheapest deal. I'm more kind of, what's the real price? You don't want a jacked up price. That's more kind of how I think. What's the real price? And I pay it, not an exaggerated price. But that being said, my friends, I know this is long-winded. It's like a 30-minute video. I see the time right there. But I think this information would really help me, especially if you haven't been in Thailand. Even if you haven't been to Asia before. I mean, I've been in the Philippines several times. It's the same way in the Philippines. I mean, once you leave, there's little scams, and they're good at their scams, so they know. I mean, they've been doing it for a long time. You have to be 18 to work in a resort. A lot of these girls and guys, they've been scamming since they've been 5-6 years old. You know what I mean? So I hate to use that word, scam, but even if they're young, they've been doing it longer than you. Let me tell you. So those are the two top scams to watch out for. I'll just grab my notepad here because I've been talking for a long time to stay focused. Going back to number one, just to recap here. Number one is if you have separate bills at your hotel, resort, especially room service, everything's going to be paid for before you get there, but a room service bill is always going to be a closed out bill. You have to keep your receipts. You have to know how much you spend, okay? If not, more likely they'll give you an exaggerated bill and you won't catch it because they think you're in a hurry. They think you don't have time to argue with them. You don't have, all this stuff. They think you just don't pay and walk away. Okay, so that's number one. That's the first scam. The second scam is book online, don't walk in. Most of the time, 98% of the time, I'm making an average up, that percentage up, but 98% of the time, you're going to get a better deal online than you do walking in. When you walk in, you walk right into a scam. Okay, they see you, they know you're a foreigner, they know you're a foreign, they know you're a Falun. That's that's Thai for you're a foreigner. You don't know. You don't know Thai culture. Okay, you don't know real price. So they exaggerate it. And that whatever they exaggerate it to, remember, it goes in their pocket. It doesn't go in the hotel's pocket, it goes in their pocket. So that's what they do. But other than that, my friends, I wanted to share that with you, share those some personal experiences with you, and that should kind of help you out if you go to Thailand, planning to go to Thailand, no matter if you're planning to retire, hotel hop or whatnot, until you really find a place where you want to stay. Other than that, my friends, over and out, and I'll see you, boom, in the next episode.